I'm ready.
Awesome. So, how's everything with you? Everything good?
Good. I had a busy day, so
Oh yeah.
got home and
What?
took care of the snakes
Uh,
and got ready for this.
Taking care of the snake is like never ends, right? It's always something. Always cleaning, always feeding, always something, right?
Yeah, every single day you got at least, got to check in 2 or 3 times to make sure everything's good.
Yeah. And then you don't do this full time, right?
I do not. No, it's a hobby currently, and I'm
Okay.
in health insurance full time.
Oh, cool. Insurance, yeah. Insurance is actually a really good business, right? I mean,
Yeah.
once you get that, like a few clients and then things like that, it's kind of like, um, well, like of the better word, it's like a passive income, because you get like reoccurring income from all your clients, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. How long have you been doing this hobby?
So I bought the first snake that's part of this group
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago now, and
Oh,
then I bought the next one a year, so 6 months later, which was so I got the Mojave Black Pastel, her name's Aphrodite, and then I got Gary, who's
okay.
the pastel banana head hypo. Had them for a while, literally like a year or two, and
Right.
then decided to start breeding because I saw Cusco's videos and realized, hey,
Uh,
anyone can pretty much breed. He was in his closet at the time.
right. Um, but what made you, or spike your interest into the hobby? Like how did you get, like the animals, and then how did you actually get into like ball python? I mean,
Oh
do you
yeah,
like animals in general?
yeah. So that started very young. I always loved reptiles. Used to catch them
Mm,
in my backyard all the time, garter snakes, whatever. My
right.
uncle, and I'm sure everyone did that. It seems like the main story.
Yeah, the
And
most
it was cool.
common
Like I
thing.
kept a
Yeah.
toad. I kept one of
Mm,
those American toads for I think like 2 months, and then just let it go because I didn't know what to do with it. And
okay.
then my uncle, when I was like 10 or 11 years old, gave me a corn snake that kept biting him. And
Okay.
he was like, hey, if you want it, you can have it for free. I'll get you a tank and everything. And so I did that and had him for a
Mm-hmm.
while. And then I moved out to
Right.
Wyoming and got rid of him before the move. But then in
Okay.
college, just wanted a snake again
Mm-hmm.
and started watching videos of, what's the best snake to get for someone that's still new.
Right.
And ball pythons and corn snakes were the two picks everyone was saying. And I was like, I already had a
Right.
corn snake. Let's try ball python. And then I binge watching snake bites on TV.
Ah, snake bites. Yeah, everybody seems to start like the whole chaos this hobby from like snake bites, right? Like everybody, pretty much. So, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
well, corn snakes, are supposed to be like really tame, right? Or they're like really crazy too. I have no idea about corn snake in general.
So corn snakes are a pretty docile animal for the most part. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
right.
just squirrely. They're fast. Um,
Yeah, they're like really flighty too.
yeah, and they're from here. That's like the easiest part about them is they're from North America. So we already kind of live in their
Right.
climate. So it's not that hard to, keep up on husbandry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How big is your collection right now?
Um, I don't know. So probably somewhere around 50 animals.
Okay. And they are
And that
all like
includes a few
adult or just
retics.
baby? Oh, right. Yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to ask you too, because you not only do ball python, you have like reticulated python too, right?
Yeah, I have a few different species of animals, and that'll be expanding a little bit. Like ball pythons
Mm-hmm.
are fun for the color morphs, but I like some of the animals
Yeah.
just due to disposition. You know.
Right, right. Let's start with ball python. What is your main project for now?
So I have three they're pretty much going to be combined into one project, and it basically just
Okay.
has to do with like pied clown scaleless head. So I'm not going like this year. I'm going to make one scaleless clutch just to, kind of say I did it type deal. But and just to have I really want to scale a snake as like a pet. Um,
Right.
but other than that, the scaleless head project, and we talked about this
Mm-hmm.
at the show, it's going to be used as an
Yeah, we
enhancer
did.
gene and
Yeah.
not not a main gene to be making scaleless snakes. I really like what it does to the just overall color and pattern of an animal.
Right. Yeah, because the head scalers itself, I mean, I've been talking about this for like years, and then people kind of like, are making fun of me, like, you do not know what you're talking about. Just like I have this like bunch of combos, they just like head pipe, and then my goal is not to make pipe, just to have the head pipe and plus the combo, because they look completely different. People like, well, you have the head pipe, why not just make pipe? They just like really, like stupid move, like in general. So I was like, not really. And then it seems like, gradually, especially Daniel from Constrictor Addiction or something like that, right?
Yeah, constrictor addiction or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, super nice guy. So he's like kind of like working on it, and people started to see the difference between just a regular combo and then the one with the head scalers, like in the mix,
Yeah.
right? You can completely see the difference, and then it's like night and day, pretty much. And then you don't have to necessarily, produce scalers, because scalers, just to like everybody knows, is not for newbie, because I'm not saying that it's hard to take care of. It just takes a little bit more knowledge, I think. Like at least if you have that basic knowledge, like basic foundation, probably okay, because it takes like a little bit more care, for like a better word,
Yeah.
So your goal is to make scaleless clown pie. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, like scaleless clown pied combos. So adding, I have some incomplete dominant traits that'll be in there as well, such as like
Okay.
leopard. I really want to get into that. There's a few genes that I just want to make sure get their way in there. Spot nose obviously is a cool one.
Yeah.
But it'd be awesome one day to have red stripe in there and work with some of that stuff. But just adding some of those genes that really work well with pied and clown, and then having scaleless head on top of that to just kind of brighten it all up. OD, yellow belly, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think when you're working on with that clown pie, it's always ideal to add like leopard in the mix, because it seems like it's give more highlight on the pattern, because that's what leopards offer to the tables, right?
Yeah.
And then with head scales though, I would love to see it. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of my goal with it is, and we haven't even seen a scaleless snake really, unless I'm mistaken, on eggs, like a female. I've seen males breeding.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think we talk about this back in Anaheim, right? Because my question is always, like, can the scaleless female lay a really healthy eggs? I'm talking about like going through. I know they can breed, but can they produce eggs? And then no one seems to know. I'm talking about on both sides, either the DM scalers and also and then the micro scale project. I haven't heard anything just yet. And then I did touch base about this topic like a while back. I was asking Brian to ask like whether if the female scalers can go the whole like breeding cycles, right? But unfortunately one of his female scalers was like died or something like that, so there's nothing since then. So it would be nice to see, and then kind of like give us like more details whether the female can go like the whole cycle, but only time will tell, right? So yeah,
and I know a few breeders that have scaleless females that are like to size, but a few of the people I've talked to want to get them bigger, just due to the fact of like, what if the scaleless, because they don't have scales, it's either you're going to get a nice healthy clutch, you're going to get nothing because they're infertile, or the snake is going to split in half because the eggs are just too, like, it doesnn't have, like, that's what I've always thought. Maybe what if it just splits in half because it doesn't have the same like elasticity that a snake with scales has? Like, what? I mean, when it's trying to push those eggs out, what if it just kills the snake?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting scenario to kind of like look at it. But well, the best thing is you don't need to palpate or using the ultrasound, because you can see it like right away, like how many eggs you're gonna get, how big they are. You can see it like right away. That's a good question. I do not know the answer, to be honest with you. I mean, if they can move, like, because scalers, for most people that never, have them or like, hatch them, um, they're actually not that much different than a regular. Obviously, they have, much more, smoother, scales and skin, whatever that you want to call it. But they act normal. That, they, you know, they share the same. They eat the same. They coil the same. They poop the same. You know. Other than that, I do not know. That's a really good thing that, for us to kind of like figure it out. So
Yeah.
hopefully any of these breeder can, give us the answer.
Yeah, give us an answer. Hopefully this season we'll see it, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not really focused on the Scalers project right now. I mean, I have a few health scalers project that I'm kind of like implementing to like a different project, but I'm not really, I'm shooting for the scalers itself
Yeah.
because I'm kind of like got out from the project like a while back, like right before, yeah, kind of like crash.
Yeah.
I already knew like, oh my god, the price gonna like go down like a, like a rock bottom. So I'm just got out, sold everything. So I only produced like two of them, and both of them was like male. So male scalers, just a regular. So I have no like any knowledge when it comes to like female. So I do not know. But just like you said earlier, most of the female scalers that some of my breeder friends like working on them right now, it seemed I can be wrong, so I don't want people to send me like like nasty email tomorrow, but
Everyone
they
send them hate mail.
right everybody. Yeah, it seems like it's really hard to get them to size, to like breeding size. I can be wrong. I don't have any experience at all. By all, that's the problem that they kind of like are facing right now. So it's really hard to gauge whether they can go over like the whole breeding cycles. Just the fact they have a difficulty to reach their optimum weight before they can go like the whole breeding cycles, right?
Yeah.
But it will be great to see. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that too. I mean, it seems like everyone can get them to
Uh-huh.
1,000 grams, but I haven't seen any like
Yeah.
bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it will be great because if the female, can go like the whole, full cycle, that will be great because right now, I mean, the male can breed like no problem at all. They can produce all, scale head, no issues at all. But I don't know about the females. So hopefully there's no issue because I think it's a good, project. It has a lot of potential. Hopefully it's not going to be the same like that desert gene issues where the female cannot go and then just like end up like a pet. But other than that, it's a really good project to have.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed just seeing the difference between the colors on the scaleless heads. That's where I've been
Oh
impressed.
yeah,
My
yeah,
colors are popping. Everything's just cleaner.
yeah, yeah. Do you know why the head scalers tend to give more like that vivid color?
To me, I don't know if you know, but to me it seems like
Uh-huh.
it's like the scale is a little more like raised, and then they're
Uh-huh.
smaller. So it's kind of like, I don't know, going from 1080p to 4K.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it. Well, you're actually right because they have less scales. So just like you said, they have like a little bit gap, so you can see like the actual skin. Well, not skin, just like the actual scales behind that, the original, just like a regular, scaleless, animals. So you tend to see like the, like what the true color underneath that, those scales.
Hmm.
That's probably the best way to explain it, right? Yeah. So people will be like
Yeah.
so confused right now.
Yeah. Especially people that haven't seen the project much yet.
Yeah, yeah. It's really funny because people that never seen like this, the scalers in person, they tend to like hate it just as much as most people hate spiders right now. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, that thing not gonna survive. But once they see it in person, especially when they touch it, like they have it on their hand, they love it like completely.
Yeah.
Really, really love it.
And that same person has a
yeah.
hairless cat at home.
Yeah,
It's the same
yeah.
genes.
But the feels, yeah, the the feel is different though. I mean, scaleless cat. Well, can we call it scaleless cat? No, right?
Or
Yeah.
hairless.
Yes. No. Hairless
Whatever.
cat. Yeah. Scaleless. Yeah. Yeah.
Lack of care.
Um, yeah. It feels different though because those hairless cat. It's kind of like a rubbery feel. But
Yeah.
scaleless, ball python or like even like corn snake, they feel like I think the best way to describe it is like baby bottom, like really that smooth, like baby bottom.
Yeah.
I cannot say butt because we're trying to keep it like PG-13 right now.
Yeah. Maybe
Like
PG,
really smooth.
hopefully.
PG-18. Yeah. Um, so what else you working on? I mean, so let's focus on ball python right now, and then we're gonna talk about your reticulated python, a Python project, and then we kind of like move forward from there.
Yeah.
Other than that, clone pie project, scaleless stuff. What else you
Yeah.
working on? I know you have a really cool, like a lot of good combos that you have in your collection, right?
Yeah, I have
Ball
a
python
good
wise.
amount of like just a wide variety for as small as my collection is. I tried to get stuff that I just kind of like, and then get 3-ish animals for that project for like some of the
Right.
smaller stuff I like doing. So I have like a highway project that I'll have going. I'll probably get the male for that in like
Okay.
a year. I haven't gotten the male yet, obviously, because the females are
Okay.
all small.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have like a pastel Enchi highway. She's cool.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
running her up. And then,
Yeah.
a GHI Mojave, yellow belly. Some of the
Oh,
stuff
wow.
I like, that girl's like a year and a half old. And I don't know if, I don't think I told you, but I sold my entire collection pretty much, except a few
Oh, yeah?
animals about a year and a half ago. And then
Okay.
rebought like new stuff.
Okay.
I just didn't have anything I liked working with like anymore. It was all cheap stuff,
Okay.
And yeah, I got some banana projects I do because banana babies sell like crazy. So
Yeah. They
just
sell like
making stuff
cupcake.
for the
Yeah.
average person to buy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That GHI Mojave yellow belly, that would be great. I mean, I'm thinking about just regular, I don't know, freeway scalers. They will be insane looking. That's a simple
Yeah.
combos. I mean, to be honest with you, it's nothing complex about it. So
no.
and then yeah, speaking about banana or coral glow, whether you hate it or not, they sell like really good. I mean, they sell like cupcake. They move really fast. Because people
Yeah.
still up until today like, oh, the price is like going down, blah blah blah. I mean, people that love to complain, they never ends. I mean, they're always gonna do that, do the same thing too. But yeah, banana or like coral glow, they sell really fast. I mean, even just a regular, not even combos. I mean, it's gonna be like a different scenario if you have like banana like hat clown or something like that. I mean, obviously this is gonna go like really fast too. But just a regular banana, because some people love the color, just the basic morph itself looks great. So
It's one of the most beautiful morphs just standalone,
it is.
as is. And
Yeah.
personally, I like the dots. So I add like stuff like leopard to it,
Yeah.
cinnamon, stuff to bring the dots out. And then there's the other
Yeah.
people that like to clean it up. So you add things like lesser Mojave to it. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
good thing about them is they're cheap enough for those pet owners to get into the like a cool ball python color without spending an arm and a leg for it.
That's very true. Yeah. I think someone posted something that they saw banana in like one of the pets, like a Petco, like a pet shop. That's that's how like how hot it is
Yeah.
because people want them. Like I mean, that's probably like the replacement, for like the better word of albino, because before people just love albino because it's yellow. Now they can get like with the purple pinkish color. So yeah, be great.
Yeah, and it's cool too because I have a pet store in my town that I'm in that
Yeah.
she likes to buy snakes off of me, but she doesn't want to spend too much on them. Because like we live in an
Yeah.
area that doesn't have a whole lot of like people that'll spend $500 on a snake. So she buys them
Right.
directly from me, so she can cut down on shipping. I give her a good deal because she gets me supplies that
Of
I
course.
need, and
Okay.
we just make out deals on that. And so she'll have a banana or a bunch of, and then like normals and bananas that I give to her every season, and it gets her through the year. So,
yeah, because like,
cool.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, because like so many people till like this day still thinking about oh, the market's gonna crash, blah blah blah. I think the era that we are in right now, especially with these social medias and all these YouTubers or things like that, it's just gonna be the hobby just gonna grow like much better. Because more people gonna get involved, more people gonna have the same animals, more people gonna have that interest, right, to produce something cool, maybe somewhere along the time. And I had this conversation like years back. I don't remember exactly who said this to me, but he told me that if you ever see like a piebald or like clown or even like bananas, right, in Petco, that's a good sign, because we're gonna hit mainstream, meaning we're gonna have more exposure. Like this hobby gonna like more grow and grow, because I mean, like looking back, even like 5 years ago, right? Petco only had like normal, and they call it like fancy ball pythons. Like, no, it's normal. Like, what fancy about it? But you know what I mean. But right now they have like albino. I mean, you can see like lesser at Petco right now. That's like how crazy it is.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts to me. And
yeah,
that's what actually got me into the hobby, was seeing it mainstream. Was the fact that I was like, oh, there's all these cool color morphs. 10 years ago, I didn't know any of this existed, and I still looked up snakes on a daily basis. And so it was interesting to me. And so I went and found triplel.com and bought my first snake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chris, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's really funny that, like looking back like years and years ago, that I had no idea if you can actually make a certain combos, because I thought you have to buy it, because just like shoes. I don't know if you're familiar collecting shoes or things like that. I used to collect a lot of shoes like Jordans, Kobe, LeBron, and things like that. I mean, you cannot make shoes, obviously, right? So you have to buy them. So I thought it's the same thing like ball python. I cannot make that, let's say a killer bee, yellow belly. I cannot make that. I have to buy it. And then that's probably what got me into this chaos or this hobby. Because I want to make things. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. Huh? I didn't know that. Yeah, it's really fun because, people always say like, I'm just going to have like one. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'll see you in like, 2 years from now. And then I'm going to ask you how many you have. Every so often, I would say 99%, they have like 30 right now from one. I'm talking about like one, not even combos or like more, just like normal. And then now they have like rack system, like like a really specific room that they actually use it for their collection. Yeah, starting from one. So I think it's really good, just like you said, when we see like a pet shop or like mom and pop, like pet store, kind of like introducing these animals or this hobby, not necessarily just ball python, any animals, like geckos or like whatever that you have, right?
Yeah.
It's always good because, like the reach and the potential is just like unlimited pretty much, so.
Yeah. And that's what I like. And bringing in like cool species as well. You don't even look at morphs, but every person that hears that I breed a reptile, they're like, oh, do you have chameleons? That's always the first thing they ask. I'm like, no, I don't have chameleons. Like, I don't think I ever will, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of them. But that's like the one reptile everyone thinks is so cool because of how it changes its color, but that's just natural.
Yeah. You know that chameleon...
Little do they know it just lightens and darkens, but...
Yeah. I mean, there's like so many colors too, right? In chameleons, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that chameleons, I can be wrong. I have no experience at all when it comes to chameleon. But do you know that their eggs, takes like a year to hatch? Is that true?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
I think it's like 265 days or something like this. I'm like, Jesus, I'll be old by the time they, hatch like 2 eggs or something like that.
I know there's one other species out there that are like 6 to 9 months for incubation.
Yeah, water monitors like 6 months, and then crocodile. Well, that croc monitors is like 8 years, 8 months. Sorry, close to
Yeah.
like a year. I think. I don't know. I have to ask like some of my friends. But
Well, and
yeah.
I've got, those Candoya, the Solomon
Mhm.
Island tree boas. Their gestation,
Okay.
they have live babies. Their gestation's 11 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's like so many cool animals. I mean, I wish I have like like one person or like two-person that can help me, which is kind of like good and bad, right? Well, the good part is kind of like keep me limited not to go crazy on buying a lot of animals. And then the bad part is I just don't have the time. I wish I do this like full time. I mean, it will be like out of control, to be honest with you. So I'm so glad that I'm like super busy right now. Yeah, otherwise it just like yeah, out of control, completely out of control.
Do you do
Not
the
a good.
reptiles full time?
No, I don't. I wish I did, but no. You know that I used to hate snakes. You know that, right? Or no?
Yeah, you told me, I think, at Tinley a year and a half ago when we met.
Yeah, I used to hate like everything. Like growing up, because I have this like a strict family. They just think, like snake, well, reptiles in general, like in general, just like evils or whatever nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a good buddy of mine got me this ball python. It was bumblebee, super ugly bumblebee. It's like super brown, really bad, quality of bumblebee. And then I don't remember how much he paid, but I know he paid a lot of money. I mean, back then bumblebee was like I don't know, like 8,000. I think I can be wrong. So it's really funny that how like everything works because he was actually thinking about getting me a watch because he knows that I collect a lot of watches.
Yeah.
So think about it, right? If he end up getting me the watch, I would never be here like talking to you right now. I would be there would be no DeadMouze like at all. It's like really funny how things works, right?
Well,
Either
it's a good thing
watch
he
or like
got you
ball
that
python.
gift.
Yeah, I mean that's how crazy it is because thinking back, we were like talking like last New Year, well last Christmas. So it's like really funny because he's kind of came to the facilities and kind of like see like my addiction pretty much, and he's like, dude, if I didn't get you that stupid animals, you will never have all of this like nonsense. And I'm like, yeah, it's all your
Yeah.
fault, but yeah. I, I love it though, so yeah.
It's fun. Well, are you afraid of them now, like when they snap at you, or are
No,
you fine?
no. It's sort of really funny because it this might sound crazy, but like most of my animals never strike at me, but they will strike at my staff. It's really crazy. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time with them. I wish I could, but just mostly just like like once a week or like once every 2 or 3 weeks. It depends on like my schedule. They never strike at me, like never.
Yeah.
I do not know why. Even like the like the really tame one. I mean, I'm not talking about those imports. I mean, those imports are like like retarded sometimes. Very defensive, but they still never strike at me. I mean, they hiss, kind of like defensive, but I just grab them. Maybe because I get to know them like really well. I do not know why, but like my staff, they jump at him like right away. I do not know. Like yeah, really weird.
That is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. It's like really weird. Even like like those babies, right? Like all them hatchling. I had these like a few, well, not a few. It's like one customer that sent the emails like last year that oh my god, like the baby that I got from you, they're like really nasty. I'm like, what do you mean nasty? So I showed them the video clip. Like I post bunch of things on my Insta, right? It's
Yeah.
the same freaking snake, and then they saw it there. So, I mean, the baby just like crawling on my hand, like no strike, no hiss, no nothing. So I don't know
Jesus.
what the hell they did with
They
that
just like you.
animal. I don't know.
They have
Maybe.
feelings, I
Well,
guess. They're like, hey, I like them.
like this dude. Yeah. Let's talk about reticulary python. So
The
what do you
reticulated
have right now,
pythons.
and what is your project that you working on?
Oh, so
Yeah.
currently the only one I have here
Oh, you only have
is
one?
a purple albino golden child male. His name's Ka. He's
Oh,
the
that
one
one
that's
is
my
pretty
logo.
cool. Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I have him. He's like 8-9 feet now, about probably
Oh,
coming up on 13, 12-ish pounds, if I had to guess. I don't know exactly.
okay. Is it
I mean, he's
female?
feeding on rabbits now, so
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen that golden child sunfire purple albino? Yeah.
yes, yes, they're
Oh my
beautiful.
God, it's orange. Yeah, like orange purple. I think that's probably the most simple, like easy to make combos for a British python.
Yeah. And then, do you know Jeff
Yeah.
Kelly at El Segundo
Yeah,
Python?
super nice guy. I know that guy. Yeah.
I just picked up a snake from him. I bought it. He hasn't sent it because it's like 10 degrees here. But he,
You need to move,
I
man.
got a female for Ka
Uh-huh.
from him, and I'm
Okay.
waiting for it to warm up so I can get her. But she's
Yeah.
what exactly is she again? An orange glow golden
Okay.
child. So
Oh, okay.
she's pretty snake. I mean, it's similar to, like, have you seen like Mochino and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar
Mocha,
to, like,
whatever they want to
Mochino.
call it. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm So it's
Are
a
they the
really
same?
cool
Orange
snake.
glow and mocha? Are they the same? Oh no.
Huh?
Are they the same or are they compatible? Orange glow and mocha?
I would assume they're compatible
What do you
because they
think?
work on the same allele, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, they look the same to me, but yeah.
I,
But
I
yeah,
feel like there's just a difference in a
line.
little bit of quality between the two. I don't know
Ah,
if they're necessarily completely different genes, but then again, I'm not really a huge retic person. I just kind of like them. And these two, it would just be a fun breeding project. Just
okay.
the two of them. I might get one other female, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want another female retic or if I'd get a female berm and try for some like cool bad eater stuff.
Oh, bat eaters. Yeah, that one is pretty cool too. You should do like um that caramel burns to like orange glow retic or something like that.
Yeah, and just
Get
see
like
what
bat
happens.
eater
That's kind
double
of my
hat.
idea.
Yeah. Do experiments. Yeah.
Get like 80 eggs and just be like, okay, what am I doing with all these?
Well, you can sell it to your local pets, sure, at the
Yeah,
pet store.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could sell them there and
Yeah.
just have a bunch of people with retics and then get them outlawed in my state or something,
Oh,
because
it's not
people let them
legal
go in the
there?
wild. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
yeah, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you know how
okay.
like Florida, they're all in the wild.
Oh, yeah. Florida is like, yeah, all over the
There's
place right now.
farms
It's
down
like
there.
a lot of crazy people there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
just north of me in Montana, though, it's illegal to have any snakes, I think, over 8 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I find
I didn't
crazy
know
because
that.
there's some snakes that are 8 feet that are bulky, like a boa, that are much like worse, I guess, than like a corn snake at 8 feet.
Right. Yeah. I think it's just, like just the name itself, like the word itself can, get people to react differently. You know what I mean? Just
hmm
like when, even though you say like, let's say like, corn snake, and then when you say like, reticulated python, they just like roll their eyes. I mean, I mean, technically snake is snakes, the same freaking thing. One
Yeah.
small, one bigger, big deal, right?
hmm
But yeah,
And
yeah.
I think Garrett
So
proved that those large snakes can be small.
yeah, it's like really funny that you mentioned that because he's trying to get me to this super dwarf project because he keeps saying like it's gonna be the same like ball python yada yada, right? So I was like,
Yep.
okay, why don't you do this? Once you transfer every morph in reticulate python to super dwarf, I'll buy anything that you have. And she's like, oh, we all will be old by then. See, that's why I don't want to jump into another project.
Yeah, you just got to take
Yeah.
the cool genes though and put it in there first. The
Yeah.
stuff
Well,
that
I'm
like
already working on it too. Yeah.
yeah, we
Right?
should see cows this year. As super dwarfs, at least 50%ers.
Oh,
I
you mean
think we have
cow?
75% pairing in the country, so
Oh,
there'll
the
be
cow. Okay.
75% super dwarf cows.
Yeah. It just takes a lot of works, man, because like, yeah, you can call it super dwarf, but still, I mean, you get a lot of eggs,
hmm
and then like more eggs, meaning more, like more rec system, meaning more babies, and then it just like never ends. So I was,
Yeah.
I kept telling him like, okay, so just produce something cool, I'll get it from you. Easier that way. Much cheaper that way.
Well, it's, the
Yeah.
other thing that's crazy too is you just got to be
Uh-huh.
super patient with those projects because, like, ball pythons, you could get a project pretty much to where you saw it, in the past
Yeah.
in 5 years,
Yeah.
6 years. Retics, that same
Right.
project that took you 5, 6 years in the super dwarfs will take you like 20. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And they
you've
eat a
got to
lot
raise them to
too.
be like 5 years old.
Yeah. Minimum. If they,
Yeah.
if they want to go too. So it
Uh huh.
depends on the female. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to have like a small group, like a particularly Python, like a, well, not necessarily project, mostly just like pet because I like them, like, because I can play around with them, just like
Hmm.
you. But I have like, I think it's like 8 or 10 of them, and then
Hmm.
I sold them because I don't really see, like the benefit. I mean, they're fun and things like that. As for the pets, but like um, like money wise or like investment wise, I just don't see anything that I can get from them. Because they eat like 10 times than ball python, and then
Yeah.
the market is more like smaller, way smaller than ball python, and then like I cannot compete with Jay, prehistoric. I mean, he's like super nice guy, but I cannot compete with them because they're producing like 10,000 baby a week, so I cannot keep up with them.
You wonder where
So
they go.
I yeah, that's a good question. But yeah. So I just do not know like the inside and the out of the like the market for particularly Python. I'm really good for ball Python, but not for Python. So I was like, yeah, let me just salt them. I mean, they're fine just for a pet, but like me, like I get really itchy about you know trying to like new combos or like let's do this and with that. I always have this like stupid idea, so yeah, it never ends. I was just like, yeah, just sell them.
Well, and you have some cool
Yeah,
import stuff too. I
I
mean,
do, I
and you
do.
can't import retics, so it's like the game
You
you
could.
play is bringing in cool
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I can actually import particularly Python. I have a few people that can help me with that. Matter of fact, 2 years ago, well, yeah, 2 years ago, well, not 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, um, one of my broker offered me these pretty cool combos for particularly Python. They call it Banca, Banca, like Banca. So it's actually incomplete dominant. So they have the super version, the regular, like gene, yeah, kind of like subtle, kind of. It doesn't really look that like wow, but the super, it's insane. So I was like, yeah, should I bring it in? Should I not? Because the problem is, like with me is I cannot start with one. I end up gonna have the whole colonies again, back again, like the whole issues, right?
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that, because a friend of mine is like, okay, why don't you just bring it in and then we breed it to like one females, and then we like work something out and then we just sell the babies, get the money back and done. So I'm like, it's easy for you to say that because if I see some of the babies looking cool, I want to keep them. I don't want to sell them.
Yeah.
And then the chaos started all over again. I'm like, no, 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 that's not a good move. So yeah, I pass on it. Yeah, but it's pretty cool combos. I'll send you the picture if I still have it. So yeah,
Okay,
it's a pretty
cool.
cool combo. Yeah, they call it Super Banca. It's really weird name. I don't know why they call it Banca. I think I said it right there, Banca Bancha or something like that. Anyway, yeah,
What what's your Enzo? You have like an Enzo gene or something like that.
yeah. That one is ball python. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool combos. I have a few breeders like keep bugging me to sell some of them. Um, Yeah, it's like really funny because I keep telling people that it's always good to friend with everybody, right? Instead of like heading like bunch of
Yeah.
breeders or trying to compete with them or like backstabbing them. Like just make friends. This is one of the benefit out of it because so a good friend of mine, well, called me like a while back that well, he knows I like to collect these like weird things. Um, so he said like, "Hey, I got this a group of import from like a couple years back, and then I proven out the female. So I'll send you the pictures and just let me know what you think, right?"
Hmm.
Soon as he sent the females, I already knew that it's gonna be genetic. I already know. Just like um, I get like so many emails, to be honest with you, like people offering me like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think? So I get used to it. I can tell the difference between granite or like normal or just like cool looking normals or like the one that genetic. I mean, I'm not always right, obviously. I'm not perfect, right? But I can tell like
Wow,
if it is
I
gonna
thought
be,
you were.
I wish, but yeah, no. But yeah, so I saw the pictures. I was like, okay, do you want to sell it? And he's like, okay, let me sell you because that females only produce two, well, 6 eggs something, but it's only two healthy ones that hatch from that that clutch. So he got two males. So you know how hard it is to to get the male from like a new project. So he's nice enough to me that he's like, okay, why don't you work on it? So as for now, it's only three exist. So the mom and two of the males, and then I have one of the male. And then yeah, the project is great, man. I mean, I've produced some crazy stuff that some of them I haven't even uh, put it online. I mean, I sent text a bunch of like my friends, but yeah. Well, thank God it's not yellow belly complex, which is great. Because I don't want to make like like white snakes, and then it's not bell complex, which is amazing. And then yeah, and then it works great. It seems to work really great with orange dream combos and then yellow belly combos. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's like neon. And then hopefully I can see. Well, hopefully I can produce the super version. I think there's a super version. I can be wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a good project. So yeah.
Well, and I had a question for you. What gene are you most excited for right now if you had to pick one that's up and coming and new?
The one that not many people have it, or like new one, or like the
Like
one that
newer as
available
in
in
it,
the
we've
market.
found it in the past few years.
Mm. Um, the low end one or the higher one? So
Go
many
for it. I don't
questions.
care.
Okay. The high end one probably sunset. I still
Okay.
think that I don't know why people keep selling them like really cheap. I don't know why, which is great at the same times because I want people to start working on it. Because people have been whining like a Barbie doll nonstop about like, oh, it's super expensive, blah blah blah. It turns brown, yada yada, right? But I haven't I haven't released anything that pretty cool. I mean, there's like so many projects. I mean, think about it, right? It's not only just the like the patterns. I mean, you can shoot for the color. I mean, think about it, right? Like ultramel sunset. I know like a friend of mine like working on it, and then lavender sunset, albino sunset, and then the list is going and on. I mean, Azantic sunset, and then so on and so on. Like so many
Desert
more.
Ghost Sunset. That's
There's
gonna
a
be
ghost
dirty.
sunset. Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you make it this year, you got to show me a picture. I'm sure you're working on it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I have my marshmallow project. It's similar like Desert Ghost, I think, but I don't think they are compatible. I can be wrong because they look different. I mean, if you see it on pictures, yeah, they kind of like similar. It looks like a ODDG,
Okay.
but if you see it in person, it's completely different. People will be like, well, most of the people that seen it in person, they're like, oh yeah, you're right, it's completely different. So, but yeah, that would be great because I have her luck with my sunset, so we'll see. Hopefully, other than that, there's so many cool combos. Even just like what you're working on right now, that clown pie project. Think about it. There's so many, like potential, like so many combos that you can make just from that clown pie alone.
It's
You
pretty
know?
untapped. I mean, there's been a few combos obviously made with it, but
Yeah,
imagine if
yeah,
we took it as far as we've taken Pied and Clown on their own, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's that, and then hopefully we'll see scaleless sunset. That's another thing too.
Yeah,
I I bet you any money it will be red. Like, well, not like that Red Bull, um, you know, nonsense, but it's gonna be like red, like a really really neon red. So hopefully that
What do you think of
yeah,
that?
that's like
What do you think of that clown sunset that Matt Byram made this year?
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's good that we finally see it, like how how it looks like, because you know um, set as it is, you know uh, because I just see like how it looks like, I can kind of like change some of my direction, because before I just wanted to make sunset clown, that's it, right? And
Yeah,
then now I know how it looks like, then I can kind of like tweak it a little bit, maybe I can work something out, because just by doing so I can save a lot of years,
yeah,
instead of like trying to produce. So I'm really happy, and then it's kind of sucks because I had a good class. Just I think yeah, last year like 7 eggs, but I didn't get even one of them. So yeah, but well, at least we know how it looks like now,
yeah.
which is always
Seriously.
good. Yeah,
And I think if you add, I think the genes that I've noticed that work the best with it that are incomplete dominant is stuff like
yeah,
Enchi.
yeah,
Enchi does a wonderful job of lightening it up because I think we
yeah,
need to bring out those true oranges that it has.
yeah. And then erase the brown. I mean, the brown
Yeah,
is not really that bad. I mean, to be honest with you, right? Uh, People that getting the sunset from like other breeders, that like some of them tend to get brown like really fast, because what happened was, like some of these breeders, they get the male, and then they gangbang all their normals. So
hmm
they end up. I'm not saying they have like a low qualities, because I don't want people really. I mean, people like really mad right now. But you know, but if you get, let's say like from like a good breeders, their sunset actually really good. I mean, the sunset that I produce, they don't get brown until they hit like 1,000 gram.
yeah,
So they still have that red colors. I mean, if you see like that RL reptile Dave, I
Dave,
mean his
David,
sunset, yeah, looks really great. I mean, yeah, I mean every ball python gonna get kind of like faded a little bit, obviously.
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, you see like sunset, then some people that have, they hit like 200 and they're already like brown, just like pastel. Like what happened? You know?
Well, and I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you've noticed it at all either. But when you
Yeah,
kind of more along, I'm not saying like power feed, but like when you
yeah.
feed heavy and grow your animals up quicker, I feel like they dull their colors quicker. Like their scales almost don't grow with them.
No, that's not necessarily true. My opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think when you offer like offer feed your animals gonna affect anything, because genetic doesn't work based on like based on what they consume. It's kind of like based on the mom. I think I talk about this with Garrett too, because it's kind of like work the same in Super Door. So what happened is the mom tend to influence the gene or the combo that you're gonna make down the line. So if you get like a really crappy normals, you're gonna get crappy babies, because you
Yeah.
get, well, yeah, you get what you paid for,
hmm
so if you have like a good quality females, I mean, your project is just gonna go, I mean, every time I say this, people like, oh yeah, sure, of course you want, you kind of like, talk down about these like mom and pop's breeders or things like that. I don't think people understand that, when we talk about quality, it's really hard to, make people really understand how it means by quality, because they never seen it. So once they see it like side by side, they kind of understand, because it happens to me. I'm not pointing fingers to anybody, because it happens to me with that OD project, because like before, I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars just for Orange Dream. So I made this like a shortcut, get the cheap one, and then for some reason, like throughout the years, I never produced anything close like what Ozzy did with his combo. I was like,
Yeah.
what happened here? So I was like, oh, okay. Then I learned my lesson the hard way. I mean, think about it. You know, saving like what, like $1,000, something like that. But I end up wasting like 4 years worth of my time
Yeah.
for that particular project. So
Hmm.
kind of like give and take. And then I know, like most people like, oh yeah, it's easy for you because you have the money, blah blah blah, right? I mean, if you don't have it, just save. You don't have to kind of like rush into it. And then I think it's better off that way, especially if you want to focus on like certain project. Buy the quality animals. Don't just focus on the cheap ones. So
Yeah, and especially
yeah,
because I mean, anymore, a lot of the genes, they're not really that far off in price from the low quality to high quality, it seems
yeah,
like.
you're right. You're right. Um, it's really funny too because just like 2 weeks ago, um, my staff, forward me these emails, and then the guy was like, "Why, why your animals cost like way more than the other breeders?" And then so I look at like who he was actually referring to, and then he was comparing with sub-adult with adult, or like a certain combo with like a single combos. It doesn't work that way. You have to compare it like apple with apple. Don't trying to do just because of the cheaper price. So I don't
Yeah.
think people still understand this, and then it's gonna take time to really understand like the whole scenario, because
Yeah.
once you make that mistakes, then you'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. But until then, it's very too late.
And you're like, yeah, I know I'm right.
Yeah, it's like, see, I told you so.
Well,
Yeah. What is
and that
next
was
for you? Huh?
huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was my thing though with restarting my collection is I was like, I'm gonna buy quality
Yeah.
from breeders I know personally that
Yeah.
go for high quality stuff, and so
Yeah.
that's where I was at.
Yeah. That's a really good things that you just said, because the reason some of the price is a little bit higher than like the other breeders, because think about it, right? Just like a Garrett or like Ozzy, right? When he is, or when they working on like a certain project, they don't just buy like cheap animals. They really picky about picking up all of these like good breeding project for their animals or things like that. So they don't just like trying to get this shortcut, or like saving like few dollar here and there just to make something. They really picky. I'm talking about like they want best out of the best. So that's
Yeah.
why their offspring or their animals always look way better than other people. That's
Yeah.
why it costs a little bit more. But just like you said, at the end of the day, it actually not that much of a difference.
Mm-mm.
I mean, think about it, right? If you save, let's say $300 plus free shipping, let's say, right? Just because you're trying to save $300. I know for some people like, oh, $300 is a lot for me, yada yada, right? I mean, you can save, or just wait, or do like payment plan, you know,
Yeah.
and then it gonna affect your breeding project down the line. And then once you grow like your animals, it's really hard to change and then start from ground out again.
Yeah.
Because you already wasted like 3 years. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's like I've seen it on
yeah,
Morph Market every day. I mean, you go
mm,
and look at Ozzy's snake; it's $1,500, and then
yeah,
there's three other people selling the exact same jeans. They look
uh-huh.
different, and they're $1,100. It's like, is it really
Yeah,
worth saving the $400 if you could just get the OD combo from the guy who made it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then another thing also that like people seems to afraid to ask, right? I'm not saying to lowball the breeders. I'm not saying that. But sometimes if you nice, right? Again, if you nice, and then not trying to act like a like a douchebag or things like that, right?
Yeah.
These big breeders, they're nice to you. They're willing to help you up.
Hmm.
So it's there's nothing wrong to ask questions like, hey, like I'm a college student, let's say, right? This is my budget, and then I want one of your animals. Can we work something out? Maybe do like a payment plan or things like that. It takes a little bit more, but you're gonna get quality animals, and then it's kind of like hurt, like for now, but after like 2 years, you'll be so happy that you made that decision. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep, I
what is
fully
next for
understand
you?
that. And
Yeah, I'm sorry.
what's next?
Now, what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
I don't even remember.
I
Let's
keep
go to your
like cutting
question.
you off. Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, okay. What is next for you? Like, what do you want to accomplish? So let's say 3 years from now, right? And then if I talk to you again, like, Nick, what have you done with your collection? Like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What do you
Yeah.
want to accomplish?
Um,
Yeah, what is your goal?
that's a good question. And the only thing I've really kind of put down as a goal is
Hmm.
I would like in the next 5 years to have a big enough collection to where it makes
Hmm.
enough money for me to think about walking away from another job and doing reptiles full time.
Okay. Okay.
And I think it's feasible. I just have to A, make some snakes, and B, buy some snakes before I get there. And then also, it's not just about the breeding either. It's also like, I want to come up with other ways to monetize the business.
Okay. Like what way?
I have a few things poking around, start actually focusing on some of my social media stuff a little better, gaining a following to where people want to buy t-shirts, people want to buy stuff from me.
Right.
Maybe making not Patreon per se, but something on my own website where it's like a pay as to view type deal. Because YouTube, I don't like YouTube very much. It's such a
Oh
pain
yeah.
for me. Um,
Okay.
but I don't know. I don't know. That would be the goal. Is it
Hmm.
attainable? Sure, but if I don't get there, I'll give it another 5 years.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm only
Yeah.
23 years old, so I've got a lot of time on the planet still.
Yeah. That's actually really doable. I mean, it might sounds like really hard to achieve, right? Because you don't see it now, you know but I'm thinking about it, right? If you want to do this as a full time, I get this question like nonstop. I'm talking about left and right. Like every time I go to the show, they're like, hey, what do you think if I want to do this like full time? And then it depends, right? Because there's like so many scenario. Like if you're like singles and then you don't have any kids, that's much better and then it's much faster and easier. But if you have families
Yeah.
and like 3 kids, well, stop making kids, right? So um, other than that, so you can save money. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really well, not easy, but let's just say kind of like it's doable. Let's just say that. Because I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it this way, right? So let's say if your expense, let's say like $1,000 a month, let's say, right? So you
Yeah.
have $12,000 a year, right? And then typically, it takes minimum 3 years to get like the whole breeding like fully running like automatically, right? three
Yeah.
years. So meaning you need like 36,000, right? So figure out like how can I save that money, right? How can I get to that 36,000? There's like so many ways. Maybe you can get another job or you can get like a small like business on the side, right? And then the business can be like anything, just like you said. Maybe you can sell t-shirt, maybe you can monetize something, or you can broker like your friends animals. This is
Yeah.
another thing too, because like so many like big breeders, they need helps selling their animals. And then you can call them like, hey, my name is Nick, and then I'm really good with this, and then if you need any help to sell your animals, just let me know. And then you can help them because you can get it from like wholesale price, and then you selling let's say for like retails to like pet stores or maybe like a morph market, and then you make the difference. Or
Yeah.
usually they pay you like like either commissions or just the different, so it's up to you. And then
Yeah.
this is good, not only that you can save money, but you can learn the process of how to sell the animals, the inside and the out of the hobby, networking, and then build your buyer list, just doing the same thing too. And then on top of that, you're making money.
Yep.
So once you save that 36,000, that means you have 3 years free time.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that you have to stop working and then go on vacation, So keep doing what you're doing, and then it's always good to have that kind of like like the peace of mind knowing that you have that 3 years worth of income, right?
Yeah.
And then if you once you reach that goal, you can. I mean, you have two options. You can just focus on this breeding project and then make it your main income, because you have 3 years, so you can just trying to focus on it, keep breeding on it, and then produce the animals, and then since you already know the inside and the out while saving this like money, then the process is the same. The only difference is instead of selling other people's animals, you're selling yours, like your own clutch or your hatchling.
The
So
stuff you're
that's it,
truly
and then
passionate on too.
exactly, and then you start from there. That's it. That's like what so many people actually been doing so far. I mean, it's not like just overnight success. It takes time, and
Yep.
then like most people didn't start it just like right away. They have like like a full-time job, and they study from the side, and then they go from there. So once your breeding project kind of like cover your expenses, that's the time you decide whether you want to go all in or still doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
it.
I
You know.
I already know for a fact this year, every single snake I sell this year, coming up from this new season,
Okay.
it's all going straight back into the company. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
expanding, getting more
Yeah.
racks.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of new breeders I don't think realize you have to get the stuff that actually keeps your snakes alive before you get the snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Rule number one, the most important one. Yeah. Keep your snakes alive. That's very true.
Yes. And so,
Right.
racks, thermostats, substrate, water, those things are all
Yeah.
needed. And then food. Food is your biggest expense that you're going to have pretty much. And
Yeah.
so you have to account
Yeah.
for it when you expand. And I think that's the
Yeah.
thing a lot of people seem to forget. But, I'm sure you're business minded a lot. I mean, I can tell. So, like,
Hmm.
we understand the fact of, like, overheads in every business, and you got to account for it. I think there's a lot of newer breeders that forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. And then rodent, like rodent business is a really good business because think about it, right? It doesn't matter like what you have, what project you have, they still need to eat.
Hmm.
Once you build up your client list, like every week they're just gonna call you. That's it. The only issue is it's really hard work because like rodent, you're dealing with like smells, all these like keep cleaning like every single day, a lot of work, but it's really good money too if you're willing to put the work. And then
Yeah.
there's another kind of like side business that you can have to just to kind of like save the monies, and then supporting your own collection too, so yeah. And then you actually said the really good point that not many people think about the husbandry, like the whole, you know, that taking care of the process, right? Because it's easy just to buy the animals and then take a pictures and then showcase it on Insta, right? And everybody
Yeah.
happy because you get like 10 likes, and then that's it. And then what's next? Like what you're gonna do next, because you still have to grow them, breed them, feed them, and on and on and on, right? And
Yeah.
then that's probably one of the reason like not many people make it to the top. I mean, it sounds really rude, sounds like really mean, but that's the fact. People that if you watch my interview with Tim Bailey yesterday, I think, yeah. We talked the same thing too, because he's been in this hobby for like forever, and then we've seen people like come and out, like come and go, like every year. Like one day they showed up, like one show they showed up, and then the next show is like nothing, gone.
Yeah.
So I think like structuring your basic like your these so-called hobbies, small business, or like whichever that you want to call it, but once you have the good solid foundation, it's easier to grow, to like move
Yeah.
on to the next one and next one and next one. So yeah.
One from what I see is the problem with a lot of the people that keep coming and going, that type of stuff, where it's a lot of
Yeah.
turnover with new breeders type deal, is the
Yeah.
fact that a lot of people don't tend to realize that, yeah, it's a hobby for us. I mean, we call it that because they're animals, but think of
Uh-huh.
it as a business. I mean, Miguel's been talking about that for a while. Run it like a business and
Yeah.
be on top of everything you do, and you're going to be successful. Because
Yeah.
if you run it like a hobby and you're just like, well, I just want to make cool snakes, you also got to think of the money that's coming in from it, because eventually you'll go bankrupt if you're not making money.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're going to have snakes dying, or you got to sell all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reason people don't really feel comfortable calling it as a business because we have that kind of like, well, that taboo kind of like feel about, oh, you just doing this for the money, and then you abusing your animals, blah blah blah, right? So people kind of like tend to stay away from that objective. I
Yeah.
mean, me and then other people don't really care. I mean, yeah, we're doing it for money because like we have overhead to cover expenses and things like that. And then if you have like employees, I mean, these people, they have family to feed too. I cannot have them just take one of the animals and then they have to just do whatever they want. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
pay them. They have expenses too. And then typically people that tend to like accuse us as breeder that oh, you're doing this for the money. Mostly those people that they are not successful, they kind of like jealous, maybe per se, for like lack of the better word. So they kind of like just saying it like, oh, you're doing this for the money, but blah blah blah. I mean, if they have the money, they would never say the same thing too.
Yeah.
So
And like,
yeah.
I've never been into it like just for money. That's never the thing. But yeah, one of the reasons is for money, because
Yeah.
I would love to be doing the thing I actually care about, the
Yeah.
most in my life, for a job, and
Yeah.
in order for
Yeah.
that to happen, there's got to be income.
Yeah, everything that we do actually needs money. I mean, even if sleeping, you need money. I mean, you need to buy your bed, your bed frame, your electricities, your AC, whatever like that. It costs you money.
Unless you want to sleep in
So
a city park, you need money.
under even that you need money because you're gonna get like a ticket or like citation or something like that. You need to pay for it.
Well, maybe you might get a free bed, a cot
Yeah.
or something
So
at the jail.
yeah, yeah. I think it's always better just not to focus on all the nonsense.
Yeah.
And then yeah, there's always like good people in the hobby, which is great. So sometimes I kind of like really well, not hate them, but like I really need my haters too because it gives me like appreciate all the good ones, right? Like you guys, Garrett, like Brian Costco, Brian Barczyk, or things like that. So I appreciate them, and then I look forward to meet you guys, to hang out, to like tell stories and things like that. So I mean, think about if everybody are nice, so you cannot tell which one are like really nice or not. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you have these like douchebags like left and right, so I'm like, oh, okay, it's easier to kind of appreciate all the good ones. That's how I look at it. So I never really like have nothing like anything against them. I like
Yeah.
them. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I appreciate them. So keep doing the your haters work. So it's good
Well,
for me. Thank you very
it's
much.
a good outlook too. Because
Yeah.
they get so pissed off and they're hating on your stuff, but they're commenting, and the
Yeah.
part they don't realize is their comments boosting your post. It doesn't matter if it's negative.
That's actually very true.
I mean, the
I'm
algorithm.
gonna tell you one story. Before we end this. So I have this vegan lady, super nice lady. I mean, kind of really nasty at first. So yeah. So she goes. Well, I post this like a baby like in my top, right? That those are baby tops, and then
Yeah.
she just ran out of me like crazy, like, oh, you abusive, you need to kill yourself, why don't you hang yourself, blah blah blah. So I just kind of like reply like really simple. So I told her like, what did I ever do to you? It's like, if I by all means offended you, I'm sorry, so maybe I can do much better. And that's it, right? So I heard nothing from her. So a couple of weeks after work, she actually emailed me, and then she's like, I was in a bad day, that particular day, and then I'm really sorry that that I say this and that, and I didn't really mean you to kill yourself, blah blah blah, and then and that's it. The funny thing is, she's following me now. She's probably gonna watch this, like, yeah. But yeah, see, like things like that. If I go rant over her too, like, oh, you douchebag, blah blah blah, you son of a bitch, or things like that, we end up making ourselves looks really bad, because the hobby itself, people kind of like have this presumption that like reptile hobby or like tattoo, whatever, like this really bad, right? Evil, yada yada, right? Think about if I reply to her the same thing too, then she's actually right, and then she wins the game,
Yeah.
but it's always good to kind of like, yeah, just let it go, just kind of
it.
like prove them wrong. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's
Well,
funny
Nick,
when I get nasty comments every once in a
yeah,
while. It actually makes me laugh. It kind of makes my day. I've got
uh,
kind of a sick humor, so when I see that, I get it. It makes me happy.
yeah, yeah, because sometimes maybe they have like a bad days, so they get like upset, or they just wanna like express their feeling or something like that, right? So they go to this whatever, like animals, people just like rant all over them, right? Just like
Yeah.
make them feel much better, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, always
Yeah.
feel free. I love
Yep.
you, haters. Yeah. Hey Nick, so we already talk like an hour and 12 minutes, I think. So yeah, time flew when we are like having fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be good. It's probably going to be a trash podcast. I mean, you got me on here, so
It is probably the worst podcast ever.
yeah. I mean, we could title it that.
Nah,
Lovera
nah, it's
Exotics
fine.
worst
Yeah, it's all good.
worst
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
visitor
Well,
ever.
I don't know if I told you this because the idea to have this, I cannot really call it podcast because technically just like two friends talking about reptiles in general. Just
Yeah.
having fun. There's no layout, there's no format. I mean, I don't have any questions from you. Well, for you, I just gonna talk to you. That's it.
Yeah.
The idea came from because there's a lot of people kind of like upset when I never get back to them because I get a lot of emails, DMs, right? And then the funny thing is when people see me at the show, right? Instead of like saying hi, they emailed me the next day. So what happened is that I never replied to them because I don't have the time. And then sometimes they get really mad if my staff get back to them. They'd be like, "Oh, Chris is arrogant. He doesn't want to talk to me. Maybe because I don't have, like expensive collection. Like, dude, I don't even know you. Like, I never asked." Like
Yeah.
how big is your collection or like do you working with sunset, I never ask anything. I mean, you probably know this. I always just say
Yeah.
hi, how you doing, how's your family, that's it, and we talk. I never ask like, oh, how much money you spend, blah blah blah.
No.
So that's why I I was thinking to kind of like get this podcast so I can talk to like all of these like my followers or like my friends, just to kind of like share, right, just to
Yeah.
talk, and then so they know like what we're talking about. So we're not talking about like gossip or things like that. We just, hang out, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. And for any followers here that
Yeah.
need to know it for whatever reason, he is a good guy. He's fun to talk to at shows, and we have a fun time. So
Yeah, we always like talk about bad things about other breeders.
yeah, we just talk crap on all the other horrible breeders out there. I'll call out Brian Cusco, just
Oh,
because I
Brian
want
Cosby,
to,
yeah,
because he's my
super
buddy.
nice guy. Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah, yeah.
He's
I should
awesome.
have him like soon too. Maybe like next week or something like that. It depends on like his schedule. But yeah, it'd be
Yeah, shoot
great
him
to
a
talk
text.
to
He's
him.
really not that busy. He likes to say he is, though.
Right? That's that's what I thought too. Thank you for I'm saying that. He'll be so mad right now.
Oh, I hope he's watching
Yeah.
this at some point.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. Well, Nick, it's been fun. Thank you for doing this. And then, are you going to Arlington or Tinley?
So
No.
Arlington's up in the air. I'm not sure. Tinley's
Yeah.
a no. I know that for sure.
It's
I
Okay.
have to be here to watch at my parents' place to watch the
Oh.
horses and everything. They're going to
Okay.
Argentina. So,
Okay.
and then I think the next show could possibly be August Pomona, but definitely October Tinley. So
Yeah. Yeah. October Tinley is I definitely gonna go, but the one in March, I do not know.
yeah,
But well, I will see. Yeah, can be changed. But yeah. All right. So if nothing else, I'll catch you next October, and then we'll hang out definitely, and then
yeah,
talk
and we'll just
bad
keep
about
in
other
touch
people.
through. We'll just keep in touch through social media at this point.
Sure. Awesome. All right, Nick. Thank you so much, man.
Yep. Good night. Thank you.
All right, you too. Thank you.